All right, everybody, we are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Guru, and I have the good brother on with us again today, brother College Genesis. And today's topic is: does Western democracy work in Africa and for Black Americans? Um, you know, I mean, does it, College? Like, what are your thoughts on it? Or is it just should we change the name? Should we redefine it? What are the? I guess my question would be:
The
what are
nuances.
the nuances that are the real intentions of having a democratic society in uh, in Africa?
Okay.
And can a democratic society benefit Black America
Okay.
or Africa?
Okay. Yeah. Put me on mute.
Okay,
Okay.
got you. Go ahead.
Okay. As I was talking to John Catherine today, we were talking about the Socrates and Aristotle. First of all, when you get ready to go into democracy, where did it originate from? Right? There's always been like a sort of African style democracy. You look at African history and everything, and then there's Western style democracy. Okay. Plato and Aristotle debated, right? Not Aristotle, yeah, excuse me. Plato and Socrates debated, right? This concept and everything like that. Who's more powerful? The state, who has the best interest of the people, or the people should be able to dictate to the state what's in their best interest at all times? You know what I'm saying? Now, Socrates always argued, right? And then Plato took that to a different level when he wrote the Republic. You know, the Republic. That's what the Roman Empire, the Roman Republic was based on, and right down to the democracies and the states that we have today. The idea of the Republic, a nation state defined by a common border, a common language, a common race, a common everything like that, common interests, right? And the common everything, common market, common everything, under a common law with limits to that territory and those and the sovereignty of those people. Okay, the idea of a republic or nations, a republic defined by borders, right, and that sort of thing is something new to African culture, right? We always had sort of democracy and sort of not democratic, but sort of input from the societies in different West African societies. We had Macy's, we had rule of law, we had in most African countries we had checks and balances. The king was not absolute, didn't have an absolute power. You know, the king had to be for the people, and what he does is in the interest of the people. Everything is about to the interest of the people. Okay, so in other words, if you go to war or you spend money in treasury, it's ultimately going to benefit the people. What happens is this. What Europeans didn't understand when they came to Africa, right? At first, the Europeans wanted certain things. They wanted gold. They wanted all these things trade with Africa, and they assumed because their societies in the Middle Ages, coming out of the Middle Ages before the Renaissance, were sort of backwards. We had warlords and feudal lords and everything like that who called themselves kings and everything, but they weren't really in the Aristotle and in the Plato and the Socrates thing of the Republic and the people of the people republic, they were despots, you know what I'm saying? And they were monarchs and there was all these things. So they assumed that it was like that in Africa. It was not like that in Africa. The idea of the absolute powerful of a king or chief and everything didn't happen just like it happened in Europe with the crossbow. It didn't happen until the importation and the introduction of the gun. You know what I'm saying? Once the gun was introduced into Africa, a king did have power over his so-called subjects. You know what I'm saying? There was no council to check him or imprison him or execute a king or dispose him and everything like that because the king had control over the army through weapons and the weaponized smaller vassal states or whatever like that. He said, yeah, okay. Now I'm just giving you a preamble to what I'm going to get to. Okay, modern Africa. When you take a piece of territory carved up by Europeans, right? They created a territory called Nigeria, right? Which was really just what they said was nigger area.
Hey,
And
hey, Colin, hold on. So medicine was like we're gonna give you a pass today on clowning Nigerians because I don't know if you saw the show I had with the Ethiopian girl that came on.
Well, no, I didn't see that yet. What was
Yeah. It's just yeah. I mean, it was just. But the thing is, like every Ethiopian I meet swear they're just educated about Ethiopia. So, but
right?
yeah, people put like this. People were happy. I got Ethiopians calling me, Ethiopians emailing me, upset, about the show. So yeah, but I was like,
Yeah. I gotta go back and listen to that show.
yeah, but go ahead. But
Okay,
it's funny that you brought
okay,
up
okay.
Nigeria. But go ahead, it's
All
all
right.
good. I told him I was gonna give Nigerians a pass probably next week
Oh no,
after I get my
never.
visa. But we're not. Go ahead and go in, Kyler. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, we gotta talk about Nigeria. It has to be. Okay, now Nigeria, they crossed over the country. Lord Lugard created a country on a napkin over dinner, and said, okay, this is the area of called Nigeria. Don't tell the people anything like that. They're part of this new territory. He's sitting over dinner and pulls out a handkerchief, right, and says, okay, this is a map of Africa. We're gonna draw the boundaries right here, and we call this our nigger area. It was the British Nigeria Company, okay? And that's the genesis of Nigeria, 1905, 1900. That was incorporated as a corporate entity in the British Crown colony, British Crown protectorate. Okay, not a colony, but a protectorate. Okay, the British government owned all the trade. Anything that went into and out of was controlled by the British Nigeria Royal Company. Okay, the British basically set up the country basically irrespective of tribe or whatever like that. We're gonna give this section right here, the North, the biggest territory because the Northerners are more loyal, they're more autonomous and everything like that. They're not gonna buck against our rules. Southerners are more educated and everything. We don't want, and it's another pattern in Africa. Wherever a group of people is more educated, let's marginalize those group of people. The most threatening thing to Europeans is an educated group of black people on the African continent with power. You know what I'm saying? That's why they hated the American Liberians. They wanted to get rid of Liberia, knock Liberia off because it was a threat. They hated the educated Zulu class in South Africa. They began to only negotiate with the kings. Let's ignore the Zulus on the ground. And this is all going to set up to where I'm going with all this tonight. Let's ignore the Zulu doctor, the people studying abroad. Let's make them. Let's tell the Zulu you ain't less Zulu now because you wear a suit and you know how to read and write. You're technically we're gonna make you out to be a white man to your own people, even though we know that you want the best interest of your people. Right there, they know that'll never happen. Unfortunately, those things go both ways. It can turn out good, it can turn out bad. In Cambodia, a little man named Pol Pot went to France and studied Marxism and everything, and decided that he could solve all Cambodia's problems. And in the process, millions of people died. And under Pol Pot in Cambodia. The idea of democracy and indigenous cultures and everything is something that the West, as a benchmark, one of the things I'm gonna say something right now, people are not gonna like and everything like that. Donald Trump went to Kim Jong Il. He says, Chairman Kim, right? He knows he's a brutal dictator. There's no democracy and everything like that. But the bottom line is Donald Trump's a businessman. He's a realist. You know, he understands this. It's better to deal with a dictator that could get things done than basically destabilize that region with so-called 20 different sectarian. Look what happened in Iraq. There was 30 different sectarian groups all call themselves Democrats and democracy and everything. After they had elections, this country still fell apart. You know, let's talk about democracy, and I'll get back to Aristotle later. In order for you to have a democracy, mean the people. That means the people have to be a people, or one people. You know what I'm saying? That means you have a common language, a common history. Any altercations in that history, even though you may have two different peoples who came from the similar origins and everything, if you live in, like, let me see, you got the Irish and you got the Scot Irish, you know what I'm saying? Who are Scot Irish? Scot Irish are, although they're living in Ireland, right? They're originally Scottish people who invaded the Irish islands, right? They're still Scot Irish, right? Scot Irish is a different ethnic group. They have some of the Irish culture, but they're still Scottish, okay? We don't pay attention enough to this in black people. We don't basically say, okay, if somebody develops a culture, right, over a few centuries, they're a legitimate ethnic group, right? They have a territory, they have a land, right? They are more most adapt to govern. That's the key word, govern the group of people that they say they're going to govern. Now, when you superimpose a state on them, right, and don't recognize that, that's the building block of conflict. And you saw that in Yugoslavia with the former Soviet Union. The Soviet Union became propping up all these fake republics in the Baltics and everything like that. And what happened when the Soviet Union collapsed? All hell with the broke loose. Okay, the same thing. It has not happened in Africa yet. I think it's because I think one of the reasons is because us pesky African Americans keep pushing this idea of black unity and Pan Africanism. You know what I'm saying? As something to unify around. Although most Nigerians and all the people scoff at the idea, it's still this sort of sense of okay, we're black in this world. You know, not everybody's a complete coon. In other words, what I'm saying. You know, yeah, you got fools out there who really believe that they can distance themselves from the rest of Africa and be their own tribe and whatever, deal with Europeans directly and everything like that. You got fools like that, but overwhelmingly, you still got a lot of black people around the world. And although they try to be Africa ignorant, they know the transatlantic slave trade, they know colonialism, and they also, when they look at movies, they look at films and everything, they know for the fact of the matter that black skin is a mark. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like other people where you could be vague and everything. When you step off the plane or you go to a foreign country where all eyes are on you, they're not looking at you because of your shirt on. They're looking at your friggin' black skin. You know what I'm saying? And when once you had that experience and everything like that, it makes you sort of think, well, yeah, there is something to being black. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're not gonna be African American killmonger type, whatever like that, but you know there's something to being black, right? And that's what frustrates a lot of Africans because they think that we in the West keep this up. You know what I'm saying? They think that we're the troublemakers and we keep this up. No, it's eternal. You are black, they're white, they're Chinese, everything. They don't want to mix with you. You know, you're not gonna mix with the Chinese. You're not gonna do like you're not gonna have all this world, this colorblind world. I keep hear Africans telling me, oh yeah, color doesn't matter and all that. Yeah, color matters. Color matters to the Asians. It matters to the Europeans and everything. You're the only one that thinks color doesn't matter. That's why we let foreigners come into Africa and Black America and everything and have their way with our women and have their way with our resources and everything else. Now, getting back to the Republic. Now, it's not just picking on Africans. I'm gonna talk about Black America too, right? We have John Conyers, who's been in power in Congress since 1964. 1964 was an interesting year. My parents had their first date at the '64 World's Fair in Flushing, Queens, right? The World's Fair, the last World's Fair in the United States, 1964. My parents were teenagers. They had a date at the 1964 World's Fair. '64 was an interesting year, you know. A year before John F. Kennedy was assassinated, a few months before, it was a time of a great awakening in the world. You know, things were changing. You had war raging in the Congo. Okay, you think about all that time, 1964 till now. John Conyers has put grandkids and great grandkids through college. You know, in the process, Detroit at one time was a bustling industrial town, moat town. You know what I'm saying? Now look at Detroit. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, you can't unseat this man. Why is that? Right? Because what happens is, as more blacks move out of these areas and everything, the loyalist black people who know that their welfare check, and I'm saying like this, their food stamps and everything, the white racism and everything, they able to use fear to keep black people voting for the same people. You never seen an upset. Have you ever seen an upset in any black congressman? Well, a whole idea of a congressman is every 2 years. The Constitution of America says the Congress is elected every 2 years. That means you have a slate of candidates. You know, the congressional body is supposed to turn and flip every 2 years. You know what I'm saying? That's what keeps the democratic process. The difference between democracy and the democratic process handled. America is a republic with a democratic process, not a democracy. The best part of democracy that you're ever going to have is a U.S. House of Representatives in America. You know what I'm saying? But if you have a group of people who don't know that they can get rid of a particular congressman and he sits in there for 50 years, 50, 60 years, you don't have a democracy. Don't talk to me about democracy. Don't tell me about John Lewis and all these fools that are out there talking about the illegal immigrants and everything, and all hell is breaking loose in their home district.
Bro, you know what it is too, brother? And since you brought up John Lewis, let me tell you what's going on with John Lewis. Listen, so I live in Atlanta.
Yeah.
All right. I moved out this way back in 2000. All right. When I first moved to Atlanta, well, I was going to University of Georgia. I flew into the airport in Atlanta. And I remember driving through downtown Atlanta and seeing all the damn housing projects. It was hood as hell.
Yeah.
All right. And I remember back in Cali, we were told Atlanta was pretty much Atlanta milk and honey for Black people. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember driving through and seeing all these projects and just seeing the way people were living. And then, over time now, the projects are gone. Since the city's being gentrified or whatnot, by white people. But what's crazy, like now that the city's being gentrified by white people and Black people are being pushed out, now that during when Atlanta was the trap, and this was in John Lewis's district, Atlanta was the trap. Like no one wants to hold John Lewis accountable. Like if you hold him accountable for what's going on in his district, like those are fighting words.
Yeah.
No matter what.
It's a civil rights. It's a sacred cow. Yeah, I got mute. Okay. It's a sacred cow. You know what I'm saying? Sacred cows are things and ideas and ideologies and beliefs and abstractions that we hold on to, even though it's against our detriment. We have civil rights people who do absolutely nothing. In other words, basically, as long as they can basically point to Republicans, and all the stuff like this, and I'm not stumping him for Trump or Republicans by no means, but we have to look at this whole thing. Black America is in a quagmire. You have no political representation. 45 million people on this earth. Now, if you believe in one world government and new world order and all stuff like this, and the world corporate system and everything, fine. They give you little crumbs and everything. But if you believe that people should have the right to self-determination, that success or fail, that you should be able to have what's in your heart and desires answered and everything like that, then you have to look at why is it that 45, almost 50 million people have no political power? Why is it that you have countries around the world that don't generate a 1% of what Black America generates? They have a voice in the UN. They got power. They got respect. Where you got 45 million people, could be one of the most powerful countries in the world, where they can shoot us down like animals in the streets and everything, and no one gives a damn. And then they tell us, well, don't complain because this is the best democracy in the world. Democracy only works when you are a homogeneous society and majority of people pretty much think the same or act the same. And sure, you have different variations. You always gonna have people who are more centrist, some more left, some more right, and everything, but they're all going in the same direction. Black people in America have never known democracy since we got here. We have never known democracy. An election is not going voting for somebody is not democracy. You're participating in a democratic process, a rigged system, a democratic process that already picks the winners and the losers. Black America is on a losing team. You know what I'm saying? You're on a losing team. When you're a minority group scattered around, proof of which is this: there's no Black majority in any state in America. Do you know now that Hispanics, if their numbers keep up, they're going to be the majority in California? If that happens, that means they can take the largest state in the union over. That's what this is all about with this immigration thing. So many states in New Mexico with the Hispanics and everything coming in and everything. Do you understand if people take over these states and everything, you are in peril because they no longer need your labor. They no longer need your vote. They no longer need anything. So you think you're going to go out there and the election cycle? Oh, we got to gear up for November, the election cycle. I don't really give a rat's ass about these election cycles because they mean absolutely nothing at this point in time. They mean absolutely nothing to us at this particular time. And we'll talk about, okay, now we'll talk about democracy as far as African states and everything like that. Democracy, a republic. First of all, forget about democracy. I hate that word. I'm starting to loathe that word. They throw that word around deliberately to throw people off and make you feel guilty and make you feel like you're stupid or lazy or make you feel inept if you don't say democracy, democracy. You know, democracy only means people rule. But nowhere on the planet do people rule. In America, we have a plutocracy. You know what I'm saying? We have a republic that's a plutocracy with a democratic process. That's the only participation you get into the process. You can elect candidates that they've already chosen for you. Colin, you're lying, Colin, you're lying. Oh, you really? Oh, really? You're gonna tell me that they don't pick these candidates out of the court? They groomed Barack Obama before he was even in Harvard. You know what I'm saying? They watch and monitor people and watch their political careers for 15, 20, 30 years before he gets that. That person was appear up on the scene. Paul Ryan. They groomed him. You know what I'm saying? They listened to his speeches in college and everything. Saw this guy was against welfare, saw this guy like that, and they put him along. They have operatives that put these people in prison. This guy, who's the governor of Wisconsin, Scott Walker. Same thing. He hates unions. He hates unions. So people say, look, you may think, oh, he's a nice guy, fair-haired boy, this, that, the other thing. No, but the real people behind him are the people who know that when he gets in power, he's going to do their bidding. That's what it's all about. You don't have a democracy. Paul Ryan, now that he got his one crowning achievement, this tax overhaul and everything, he's ready to retire. He couldn't even do 2 or 3 more terms to cover it up. You know? So in all this hubbub he was talking about, he got what he wanted. He got that tax thing. Now it's time to go home and enjoy his family. He did what his handlers wanted him to do. This is not democracy. So this idea, so when I hear Africans talk about, before I get mad. Every time I hear Africans tell me that, the American Liberians dominated Liberia and everything like that, and they didn't give the indigenous people full voting rights and everything. Look, the American Liberians were educated. They knew how to run a country. They basically had some of them were politicians in America before they came to Liberia. They knew how a state in a republic should run. They knew something about how the modern world works. You know what I'm saying? How statesmanship and diplomacy and all that stuff that works. The indigenous people didn't have any education. Why would you hand over friggin' the electorate so they can elect the tribal chief as president? The idea of Liberia was a republic. Yes, okay, the majorities in the republic did not rule. You know what I'm saying? The problem with Liberia was they should have brought the Americans and the diasporans to be the majority. Had that happened, Liberia would be a world power right now because coup would never happen. The problem is this: when you have the 80% of your people uneducated, illiterate, you know what I'm saying, and then you're going to hand them over the republic. You're putting the republic, the institutions, its industries, and everything in peril. Not because we're not sitting here saying we're being mean to the indigenous. You know what I'm saying? Hogan said, how we build Liberia. Everything's tied to everything because it's all tied together. The fact that we got idiots running black precincts in America, the same reason why we got idiots running Liberia. Same thing, we got fools in Nigeria. South Africa, a 4th grade educated Jacob Zuma was president and all stuff like this. You know, somebody with a 4th grade education, have sex with underage girls, has HIV and everything like that, is president of a major republic like South Africa. You have to ask yourself a damn question. What the hell is democracy doing for the black race? You know what I'm saying? Don't get up here. I'm sick of because I know the majority of people are ignorant and uneducated, right? And they side with the mob. What you have in Africa and Black America and everything is mob rule. And one thing the founders of America realized was the majority of people, even the majority of white Americans, you cannot risk the future of a republic or mob rule. That's why we have an electoral college to make sure that mobs and large population centers never dominate the process. We have an electoral college, so we don't have mob rule. In the black man, everywhere where black people govern, you have mob rule. People vote based on patronage, your tribal chief, and whoever you feel that can electrify you and everything. You have a damn illiterate soccer player running a freaking country. And I'm gonna talk about this thing in Liberia.
Hey, real quick, Colin, just to back up a little bit. I showed you, I sent you the link or tagged you on the link for the video, the free Let the Free Birds Sing, the documentary about the founding of Liberia.
Oh, you talking about the Pride of Pepperbird?
Pepperbird. I'm sorry.
Matter of fact, that's a chapter. That's chapter 3 of my novel. Pride of Pepperbird.
With kind of somewhat, I have questions on in regards to democracy. You have a land ownership.
Yeah.
So can you break down, I guess, the disconnect between, because this is where I was lost at. They were saying that there was no concept of land ownership, that the land was communal, but you had 15, 20 different tribes.
Okay. I'll break that down for you.
Kings and rulers. So I'm trying to, okay, if you had different kings, different rulers, different tribes, but everybody's land was communal, how does that play out?
Okay, this is what I'm that leads me to something. Well, I didn't pull up the right thing, but I'm going to show you a map of the city of Monrovia. Okay, this is the whole thing in the territory of Liberia that was claimed territory, right? The government of Liberia, when you that's the beauty about sovereignty, right? Once you have a proclamation and is recognized by the other major powers of the world that this is your territory, right? Now, inside those territories, right, Liberia was governed, right? There was two Liberias, right? There was a Liberia that was of the settlers, right, wherever they negotiated at. The government acted as a neutral body. You know what I'm saying? As a neutral body, right? It negotiated through treaty. Liberia was founded through treaty. Every one of these tribes agreed that they were going to be part of the Republic of Liberia.
Colin, not to cut you off again. In the documentary, they said that, I forgot the name of the white guy, that he stuck a gun to King Peter's
head. That was myth. But it was like this. This is what happened. The negotiators from the U.S. Came over and they said, okay, we want to negotiate a strip of land, right? And they said, sure, you can stay here, right? But then when they start putting up buildings and stuff like that and like clearing the land, they said, no, we didn't say it like that. We just said you could just use it to trade, you know? And I guess it was lost in translation. So what happened was the negotiator forgot his name. He put a gun to his head and said, either you're gonna negotiate with us or not. So they said, okay, fine, we're gonna go. That gave the native Liberians some time, right? They said, okay, well, what are you gonna do with some ex-slaves? You go ahead and build your whatever you're gonna build. Okay. A few months later, they started erecting framed housing, row housing, a public building, municipal building, and stuff like that. They hoisted the American colonization flag on the soil, and they basically what happened was the key man in this was Elijah Johnson. You know what I'm saying? He was a badass. He was a soldier and a veteran of the War of 1812 in 1814. He was from Chester, Pennsylvania. Have you ever been there? Chester, Pennsylvania. It was right off of Delaware.
I have only place in Pennsylvania I've ever been to is Philadelphia.
Okay, so it's right there in Delaware, Delaware, Moreover, Jersey. It's that area right there, northern Delaware. Okay, and Pennsylvania. It's in Pennsylvania. Anyway, what happened was Elijah Johnson said, "Look, okay, enough of the American Colonization Society." He had his own delegation, went there, and there was a guy named King Boatswain. King Boatswain was a Viking, powerful Viking, who told King Peter and all these people to leave the settlers alone. They're black. They have a right to be in Liberia. You know what I'm saying? And because of King Boatswain, the settlers were allowed to stay. He said they're black people too. And him and Boatswain and Elijah Johnson became friends and allies. Okay. So therefore, what happened was, after a while, one of the wives of the King Peter said to them, "Look, if we just kill these people, that settlement they built would make a nice vacation home." You know what I'm saying? And so therefore, what happened was, all the stuff that they gave them, they gave them guns, iron bars, all the stuff like that. They brought it back to the settlers, saying, "We don't want your stuff. You guys got to get out. We want the land back," right? And Elijah Johnson said, "No, we're not going to give you the land back. We negotiated. We signed a treaty. This, that, the other thing." And King Boatswain. So anyway, they decided, okay, we're going to massacre these settlers. We're just going to wipe them out, right? So what happened was, Elijah Johnson told the settlers that you guys got to learn how to fight. A lot of them never held a gun. They were just Christian people. They said, "We're going to die here." And the Africans said, "Look," Elijah Johnson said, "I'm never going back to America. I'm going to die here. I found a home. This is where we're going to be." And then what happened was, a British ship came by and said, "Look, the Day King and everything, if you hoist my flag, of the British flag right here, they won't give you any trouble." Elijah Johnson said to him, he said, "Look, if I hoist your British flag up here, I could probably never, it will be too much harder getting it down. We will have a better chance trying to fight the natives than to get that flag back, that British flag back down. So no thanks. This is going to be an independent nation one day. And so therefore, against all the odds, you know what I'm saying, when the native decided to come down and attack them, right? Elijah Johnson and his people were ready for him. You know what I'm saying? And what happened was, when they came down, right? What they did was, they cooked a lot of food. You know what I'm saying? They cooked a lot of food, right? And when they knew they would come, they had spies. The American Liberians had spies, in the natives. You know what I'm saying? People who sided with the American Liberians, because that's another thing. They say it was in natives versus the majority of native people hated these kings, these warlords. They hated them. You know, they hated them. They liked the way Elijah Johnson stood up to these guys. These guys were slave traders. They were brutal. They were tyrants. You know what I'm saying? They hated them. So therefore, they would spy on them. They said, okay, they're gonna come tomorrow morning. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna march down here tomorrow morning. So what they did was, they cooked a whole bunch of food in their houses, and left it all out, right? The food was smelling good. Food was smelling good. And they left some clothes out and some ornaments and everything, right? And so what happened was, when the Native Liberian army came down, they smelt all this food and they started looting, right? And that was a trap. They set a trap for them, right? And so Elijah Johnson and all of them came down with the guns and massacred them all. You know what I'm saying? Massacred them all. You know what I'm saying? To almost every one of them was killed. You know what I'm saying? It was just a big pile of blood. That was a battle of Crown Hill. And after that, the Day King sued for peace. Said, "You guys can stay, whatever. We didn't need it." I mean, and then also there was Matilda Newport, who fired a cannon into a crowd of them and killed a bunch of them. And then that's what happened. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened. After that, once that settlement of Monrovia was established and everything, they began going down the coast to Bassa Cove, and settling more settlers. Began arriving and settling on the coast and everything, negotiating territory and everything. Same thing. What was happening was, with the American Liberian, I hate that term American Liberian, they didn't use the term. The settlers began to control the coast. And this put them in conflict with the British and all these other people that were trading with the natives, right? They said, "Oh, well, we're the administrators of the coast now. Any sort of trade there, that you're gonna have to pay taxes, and it has to have the approval of the government. The government." That's created more conflict and everything. And so the colonial administration of America, the ACA, was weak and everything like that. They were always. That's another thing people talk about the ACA. The ACA, for the most part, for the most part,
Can ACA? That's the Colonial Society.
I want to say what this guy says. Asking for Dr. Clark taking American Indigenous wisdom and what he said. I love Dr. Clark. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times, people aren't always accurate. You know what I'm saying? The ACA there was three ACA. First of all, the ACA was a national body in America, right? Let's look at America at the time period, right? America was basically a group of independent, almost sovereign states. Maryland was like its own country. Virginia was like its own country. Mississippi was like its own country. Ohio was like its own country. Indiana and everything. Each one of them had their own ACA division, right? And they operated differently. They made their own settlements in Liberia. Okay, you had the Louisiana settlers. You had the New York. You had one of the largest was Pennsylvania one with the Quakers and the that settled in Bossa Cove, Grand Crescent. Okay, so a point is this: they began controlling the coastline, right? The ACA, for the most part, right? The agents they sent over there were not working in the best interest of the settlers. They tried to set up business operations for themselves. They would go back and report saying that the settlers are unable to govern these people. We ought to be better if we set up. So they wanted to set up their own colonial administration, like in Sierra Leone, right? That's what they were operating to, you know. So after a while, when the ACA couldn't negotiate what on behalf of the settlers in the dispute with Britain, you know, the British said we don't recognize Liberian sovereignty because it's not a nation. After 25 years, they said, look, when they kicked the ACA out, you guys are useless, right? The ACA always sided with the indigenous people. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because to weaken the settlers. You know what I'm saying? So in other words, basically, the ACA would say at one time there was a mutiny, right, where the people felt that rations were being cut, whatever like that, and this guy Ashburn, one of the early ACA agents, had to hide in the house, you know, because settlers wanted to kill him. You know what I'm saying? Because he had negotiated something in favor of the natives, you know. And so basically, what happened was they start giving the local administrators to black people. So at first 10, 15 years, everything in Liberia was controlled by white agents of the ACA. Then over time, they start putting black agents in there, and eventually, after 25 years, the whites were gone. The whites were gone altogether. You know, and so therefore, then the Liberia declared itself a republic. And one of the things, the first thing they did in Article 27 was no white man will ever own land in Liberia or become a citizen or hold public office or anything like that in Liberia. The only country in Africa that ever did
it is the same article that George Weah reversed, correct? Or is trying
No,
to.
he can't reverse. That's in the Constitution. He wants to reverse it, but he's so stupid he doesn't understand that's a Constitution thing. You would have to reverse the Constitution. If he does, that means he just basically suspended the Constitution and declared himself a dictator, which basically would lead Liberia to a civil war because the majority of Liberians will go to war before that ever happens. Even the indigenous ones. You know, even indigenous ones. See, that's the whole thing about this. A lot of Liberians, they'll talk about their American Liberians and everything, but a couple of things they love is the fact that Liberia is a black-only republic. You know, no white man can own land here, whatever like that. That's the one thing they love about their country. That's passed down. They'll always say our founding father. And all these people that always talk about Liberia will never change its flag. Its seal is still the same, and they still call J.J. Roberts and all these people our founding fathers. You know, so all Liberia needed is an educational system to make them love and appreciate their republic and the settlers and all these people that helped founded the republic. They got something more than many of us ever have. They have a country. You know what I'm saying? When you have a country, you have something. You know, they can make it in this world if they can. We don't have that in America because we're stuck in America. You know. So this is what I'm saying. So the idea of this, the American Liberians, their rule over Liberia was tenuous. And you were asking about the land, right? The American Liberians lived on the coastline, right? They never lived more than 40 miles inland. There was a strip of coastline that stretched from the Mono River in Sierra Leone, right? The coast right there where Grand Cape is, right? All the way over to past the Cavallo River to the San Pedro River in like 1/16 of the quarter into current day Ivory Coast, right? That land was taken by the French in 1916, which Charles Taylor said that land ought to be given back. The French took land that was actually Liberians, because you got people in Ivory Coast right there who consider themselves Liberians to this day. You know what I'm saying? People don't know that history. You know what I'm saying? Liberia's coastline extended almost 150 miles longer than what it currently is right now. Okay? Now, Liberian settlers lived in, they were the landed gentry. That means they lived in settlements, right, that were controlled by land and deed and stuff like that. So in other words, basically, you had a county administrator who had deeds and titles of property. The indigenous people's lands was communal. It wasn't registered as a deed thing, so they couldn't borrow against it. They couldn't pass it on. It was all communal land. And for the fact of the matter is, they could not develop it as modern settlements. You know what I'm saying? Some did, but for the most part, it was mostly for village life. And the village life was very, very clean in interior Liberia, very, very clean. The villagers produced some of the best craftsmen in the world. They were really, 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 really nice. The tranquility of, like, what Liberians tell me is this: it's like you had your American Liberian culture in the cities and everything, right? But a fun time in Liberia was going to the villages and watching all the African dance and everything. So they had the best of both worlds. You know what I'm saying? And then you had the villagers would go to school in the cities like Buchanan and Greenville and Harper and everything, and they would intermingle with the American Liberians and everything. So basically, you had a cultural fusion of the various indigenous people and the American Liberian cultures to produce what we call Liberia. You know what I'm saying? The Liberia. You look at my chapter in my book, The Tribes of Liberia. It's the second to last chapter, The Tribes of Liberia. I talk about that. You know what I'm saying? The Tribes of Liberia. And I talk about that, how Liberia, out of all African countries, had a really trans. And if you look at the downtown in Liberia, the statue of J.J. Roberts points to the Atlantic Ocean. The two sides of the executive mansion, one side one side faces the interior. It's the same exact. The other side faces exactly the same on both sides. The other side faces the Atlantic Ocean, and then they have a statue facing the Atlantic Ocean of a picture of a settler and indigenous people shaking hands that symbolize the Liberians being the gateway of the African returning Africans to Africa, the place where the returning Africans and the Africans, indigenous Africans, would meet up. And it was like that because you had Africans from all over West Africa and different parts of Africa and the diaspora commingling in one place. No place in the world ever had that. You know what I'm saying? So this idea that we're sitting here with bashing America to say anything. What I'm talking about is this. Let's talk about the indigenous people who were also elite. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on 1 second. Guys, we have 128 people watching, only 60 likes. Let's get the likes up, people. Please hit the like button. And also please share. And if you're not super chatting, I mean, that's the least you can do. So please hit that like button and please share. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So you had the Massaquoi clan. The Massaquoi clan was from the Vai tribe. The Vais were educated in their own script. They wrote an Arabic script. They're descendants of the Mali Empire. You know what I'm saying? They were one of the states of the Mali Empire who began moving into the area of Liberia around the 15th century. They began moving into the area of Liberia, right? And they settled in the Cape Mount region. And so the Vai people basically, in many respects, were on the same level as the American Liberians. They were educated. They knew something about. They had trade routes. They had trade to the interior as far as the Sahara Desert, and they were Islamic people, and so their way of life and everything like that impressed the American Liberians, and so automatically American Liberians took them as equals. They took them as equals, and they began to amalgamate and marry together, and marry together. The elite of the Vai would basically hobnob and do things. The Bible were the first tribe to have representation in the Liberian government. Okay, so this idea that and it was done through treaty. You know, the Vi tribe when they did that, they signed a treaty that gave them power over these other tribes, the Mandingos and all these people who were still trying to resist Monrovia's authority. Okay, they bet, and also the Vi tribe didn't like what happened. When the British played their hand, and when they took the Galenas, or the Galenas River, they took that region from them, and there was a bloody war over there. They looked at that and said, "Look, if we don't ally ourselves with Monrovia."
Real quick, Colin, I played football at the University of Georgia with Muhammad Massaquoi, whose parents were from Liberia. So
Yeah,
I played football with Massaquoi.
yeah, the Massaquoi clan is big.
They're from Charlotte, North Carolina. Well,
Yeah,
that's where they reside.
there's a lot of Massaquois in the United States. United States. As a matter of fact, some of the indigenous people who are in Vi adopted the name of Massaquoi because the clans were so big. They were influenced around Liberia. They married other different tribes and everything, but they took the Massaquoi surname. As a matter of fact, one of the Massaquois lived in Germany. He married a German woman, and during Hitler's Nazi, and his son joined the Nazi. You ever heard about the black Nazi? The black kid who joined the Nazi youth.
I never heard of it.
Yeah, the story is a story on. You go on YouTube. The black kid who joined the Nazi youth. That was a Massaquoi. Matter of fact, his story where he did a story in Ebony magazine. He said, "How did you join?" He was mixed. He was mixed, Liberian and German, but he was part of the Hitler Youth. And so the Massaquois, because of the Massaquois connection in Germany, they were able to negotiate the largest investment on the African continent at the time in 1960. That was the Bong mines. The Bong mines were the biggest investment in Black Africa. You know what I'm saying? That the whole world was watching that. It was the Bong mines, the Bong range. They built a railway. They cut through the jungle, built a railway, a dressing plant, crusher, and everything like that too, and a mine to mine iron ore in in Zaire, in Bong range. And so the Massaquoi clans, the Massaquoi officials in the government did that because of their connections with Germany. Say no other African country had the sort of connections to negotiate big, large scale deals like that in the 1960s. 1960s, Nigeria was just getting its independence. So therefore, the world was impressed by the fact that Liberia was able to do stuff like that. So when you hear idiots talk about, oh, Liberia was never developed, Liberia was never developed, blah, 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 blah. Now, this is what I'm talking about. A government should have the best and brightest. I don't believe, me personally, I don't believe that just anybody could put on a suit and tie and talk about I'm president. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I believe you should have a degree or stuff like that, but not just that. You have to have the vision, foresight, and fortitude to become a ultimate servant of the people. You know what I'm saying? Not every great leader has a college degree. But when you have people out there who are disingenuous, who are not educated, who don't know the facts, who don't know anything, and they're basically going to take the mantle of putting people's lives in danger by them making bad decisions. I asked a couple of questions. Why do we always talk about, when black people talk about democracy? In other words, basically what they want to give democracy for is they want points from the white people in the West. They want points of democracy in the West. Oh, look how it turned out in Iran. Iran had a democratic elected government and they overthrew. You know what I'm saying? And they put the Shah in power. Remember that?
Hey, look how it turned out. I remember that. And look how it turned out in Vietnam. From my understanding, we had North and South Vietnam, I believe it is. Please, I'm probably butchering the history. The group that was backed by the USA government was worse than the so-called communists under Ho Chi Minh.
Of course. Look at Saudi Arabia. You know what I'm saying? A country that no one ever talks about, that's a brutal dictatorship, a brutal thing. Women are not even allowed to drive in Saudi Arabia.
I think this year they just passed where they could drive, just like recently.
Oh, okay. Well, that's new to me. But yet Saudi Arabia is loved by the United States. You never hear the so-called liberal media, that's supposed to be liberal, say anything bad about Saudi Arabia. and it's a repressive government that exports terrorism in the name of Wahhabism around the world. And so, therefore, so the hypocrisy. So we've been listening to America tell us, "Oh, we gotta have a democracy." Oh man, when Barack Obama went his first trip to Africa, remember when he first got elected? He goes to Ghana, right? And I see this is when I was really, really waking up, right? And he starts going on about, and I knew Ghana was corrupt. You know what I'm saying? I always knew that, right? And he starts going on. He doesn't talk about industries. He doesn't talk about wealth. He doesn't talk about business, everything. The only thing Obama was talking about was, oh, see, democracy. Ghana's a shining example of democracy. They hold elections, you know? And then I'm saying to myself, was Obama really as smart as we make him out to be? I mean, but your personal opinion. You know, I know he knows a lot of facts.
No, absolutely not. No. But
yeah, am I wrong?
But at the same time, name a U.S. president that was halfway intelligent. I mean, that was somewhat smart. I don't know what's the correct term. I don't know. Just name a U.S. president though, because usually it's the people in their cabinet that have the most, that are more intelligent.
Yeah, I think it's probably the smartest I know was Bill Clinton. You know, even though he was corrupt, he was smart. You know, Bill Clinton was probably smart. You know, but Bush, and now looking at Obama, he completely bombed his whole presidency. He goes to Kenya and starts talking about LGBT rights and everything like that.
But you know what's crazy? They'll go to Kenya and Africa and the islands and do that, but they won't dare go to Saudi Arabia and do that.
Oh, well, of course not. I would love to see Obama and all the people say, you ought to have LGBT rights, or Iran. You want to keep that Iran deal we have? Give the LGBT rights. You think Obama would do that? Of course not. Of course not. That's not on the table. It's only when they want to force, and that's the whole thing about this LGBT stuff right here. It has nothing to do with gay people's rights and everything. Nobody wants to harm gay people. It's all about using that as a political weapon to undermine people and undermine their values and their culture and everything like that, to push you to the point where you look like a dictator. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm glad Paul Kagame succeeded. There was this one girl, white girl, and I love how Paul Kagame, right? He's a president, but he don't mind taking questions. There was one white girl said, well, we have these people who are complaining out there and everything. And he just calmly asked, he said, do you really know what they're really complaining about? Well, they said that you did this and blah, blah, blah. He said, look, this is what we've done in these years right here. Boom, 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 boom. We have a long ways to go. You know what I'm saying? But our country was left a mess. And because of all the policies and the taxes we have, we think that's more important than you talk about somebody else should be president right now. In other words, basically, somebody else should be president right now because you've been president too long. Well, he's doing everything right. He might have a mandate for 20 years. His government might have a mandate for 20 years. I mean, am I alone here that think this is insanity? That every freaking 4 years you could be actually replaced or reversed by a freaking moron because he has the majority of freaking illiterate support? That means if you go by that, that means we'll never have nationhood. You know what I'm saying? Because we'll always be vulnerable to the masses of miles of ignorant, illiterate people. And I mean that too. You know what I'm saying? And you Africans wonder, just come to Africa, come to Africa. No, we can't just do that. We have certain things that we want. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? If you have a government that thinks it's more important to take the host all these stupid events for the Commonwealth and all stuff like that, and you don't have paved roads and you don't have indoor plumbing and you don't have all basic services and everything, I'm sorry, I can't go with you. And the reason why you get away with it because there's no accountability. Because if you do have an election, and the Congo, matter of fact, suspended their elections and everything, that's not on a good turn because the people are onto Kabila because he's robbing the country. He's now making billions in diamonds with this Israeli businessman. There's no account, but he was elected. Do you understand? He was elected. Somebody went there and put the poll, when they in Africa, they take a little marker in their finger and they put it on his thing. You know what I'm saying? And they go out there with their little ink marker. I voted. The most scariest thing to me is a bunch of illiterates lined up at the poll to vote. That's scary, even in America. When people are ill-informed and they go in to elect somebody that's going to have the power of life and death. That is a scary. That's a rubber stamp. That's worse than a dictator overthrowing a government, because that's saying you have the will and the confidence of the people to carve us do whatever you want to do. No, we have to become more republicanist. That means there's a constitutionalist. That means we have the rule of law. We have the states. We have state laws. We have local laws. We have checks and balances. We have courts. That we have at any time we can yank anybody from power and hold them accountable for what they do. And you're not going to hide behind an election. You know what I'm saying? Hide behind a so-called vote. You know what I'm saying? You know, if it means basically taking you out of office and suspending elections, everything, that's what it freaking means. The peril of the state, and this is why the military takes over in these countries. You know, they see the people can't get her, as Jerry Rawlings did. You know, Ghana. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, Colin, did you hear about the assassination attempt in Zimbabwe?
I heard about that. Some people see that's the whole thing, and another thing too. When something happens like that, you got people saying, "Oh no, that's fake. This is fake news. This is fake news." So I saw it, and it was right before we got on the show. I didn't get a chance to investigate it, so you never know what you're looking at. Because I believe it happened like this. I can't have no reason to doubt it. But you still got these freaking idiots in the chat rooms and on the pages. Oh no, that's fake. You know, what about Ethiopia? What about Ethiopia? What about this country? You know what I'm saying? It's fake. It's fake. It's fake. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. It didn't happen.
And shout out to Interret for the super chat. Interret, thank you so much. The sister supports us so much. Thank you, Interret.
Yeah, she, like I said, I really do believe it might be a sister that's gonna be our president, man, one day, man. You know, we build this nation, and Interret could be a president. You know what I'm saying? We think college a chauvinist. No, I'm not. Yeah, when you got sisters like this and whatnot, it gives me hope that yeah, maybe we can have a powerful female leader, whatever. Like, who cares about gender? As long as the person's a leader and they know what needs to be done. That's the main thing. You know, I don't care about no gender or whatever like that. You know, because I'm telling you right, you actually, Dinas, you see more sisters on the continent doing the things black men should be doing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You ever notice
absolutely.
that?
It was crazy. You'll see it on the continent. Yeah, absolutely.
On the continent, the place where a black man ought to be king, where you should rule. You know what I'm saying? You sitting in America trying to talk about, nah, I can't do that, or I can't do that, and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And you got sisters over there making things happen. Women, you know what I'm saying? You a big, strong man. You're able to handle yourself no matter where you go. I'm just gonna, this, that, and the other thing. You scared. You know what I'm saying? Get your coward ass out of my face. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want, we ain't going nowhere, man. It ain't gonna never happen. It's a pipe dream. You know what I'm saying? All this little freaking scared. Okay, this is a pipe dream, but guess what? Your vote don't even count anymore. Because if Trump, if the tidal wave of immigrants come in here and they bowl over Trump, and let's say Trump caves in, whatever like that, Black America, you can forget it, because the Democrats are going to be bringing all these new immigrants in, signing them up for the Democratic Party. They're going to get welfare, jobs, everything like that. In Black America, you are going to be finished. You know what I'm saying? You are going to be finished in America. You know what I'm saying? Finished. When I say finished, I mean finished. Okay? And so, okay, well, I want to get back to what I was talking before about Liberia and how Liberia was privately, because somebody was telling me Liberia wasn't shit, this, that, and the other thing. So I'm gonna show some pictures. You know, I'm gonna share some pictures with y'all, folks. You know, I'm gonna show some pictures. Right? All right. Come on. All right. All these pop-ups. Jeez. All these messages. People message me all day. All right. Come on. Slow ass computer. Come on. While this loads up, I don't know. Come on, folks. Uh, I don't know what's going on with this Google share thing. I don't know what's going on with the Google share. I don't know. Hold up. I don't know. Well, forget it. Forget it. I don't know. This thing don't like me. This Google share doesn't like me. Am I still on Google share? Hold up. One more time. Oh well, forget it. I'll get to it later. How do I take this share off? Okay, we're off. Okay, we're off. I'll get to it later. Okay. Hey, Diane, you're on mute.
Yeah, I'm saying we're good. We're good.
Okay.
What were you trying to say?
Oh, it was a whole bunch of pictures of Liberia back in the days, and I wanted to share these pictures. Excuse me, to give a visual of what the country looked like. You know what I'm saying, back in the days. You know what I'm saying? So in other words, basically, this was not some if you look at any country in the world at the time, Liberia was its equal. Now people will talk all this nonsense and everything.
Yeah, here comes the nonsense. Well, you sound like the European, because the European said the same thing before during colonialism. Look at Africa after colonialism.
Well, I'm only saying that because my ultimate goal wasn't colonialism. Our ultimate goal was to build a black nation. You could oppose a European setting up a country and everything, but ultimate goal of Liberia was to be inclusive and have a Pan-African state. In order for you to do that, democracy wasn't important. It was important to build a cultural identity that was based on race and everything like that. The problem was this. You have one race whose only experience, get this, this is very, very, very important. And you got to listen to this very, very, very carefully. You have one group of people whose only experience was 300 something years of slavery. 300 something years of slavery, right? You had another group of people who never known slavery. The mindset of the people who were suffering from slavery, who were saying we're going to build a republic this way. Why? Because Liberia was built to protect black people from white people. You have the indigenous people who were like, why are we kept away from the rest of the world? Why can't white people live here? Why do we have to be no white people are allowed in the country? Why are we restricted here? Why do we have all these laws? Why can't I build a house here? Why can't I just sell here without paying import duties? Why is it that these people have so much control over our lives? It's because they were trying to build a republic, a state. When you build a state, when you build a state or a republic, there are laws, and the laws have reason. When you are educated, right, and you know history, right, you understand why the watchman watch the watchman watch this, the senator watches this guy, this watches this guy. You have checks and balances in place to make sure the republic survives. You can't do your own thing. Everybody can't just do their own thing. You know, and that's another thing we have in among the black race. We do not respect authority. We'll respect the white man's authority with force. But somehow when it comes to black authority and black people setting out rules and everything, white people, the first thing the white people try to do is delegitimize it. I'm saying if you're a president of a country and everything like that, what Europeans try to do is throw things out there like, oh, this isn't done right. This is the right. To get the people, when they get mad about something legitimate, now it's time to overthrow this person. It was happening with Patrice Lumumba. You know, like Thomas Sankara. Beautiful man, beautiful leader. Tell me why he was overthrown. Why? Because Europeans have this way. Gaddafi, even Gaddafi. I'm not a big fan of Gaddafi, but the bottom line is this. Are you going to tell me Libya was better off now than it was under Gaddafi? When the Europeans get tired of you and everything, first thing they do is they turn your people against you. You know, because they know that the bottom line is this: they put it out there that we're the ones calling the shots and everything. And every time you see an African leader bowing and scraping to a Western leader, getting on his knees and everything like that. Didn't somebody say the other day that there was an African, somebody came to the country, and the French president, another president came to the country, African president, it was nothing. When a French president came, something like that, they shut down the school for a day, or something like that. Hey, Dom, you're on mute, Diane.
That was in Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast. What does that say to the psyche? Everything's about psyche. You know what I'm saying? The psyche of the people. I don't have to respect him. You know what I'm saying? If I want something done, all I have to do is make my case to the European. That's the real boss. We're part of the French Union. So how you want to talk about building a modern state and everything like that when you got overlords outside of your country? You're just basically you playing games. I'll tell John Cash there. I think French Africa. I don't know if there's any hope for Francophone Africa. Look at the World Cup. France's team is half of it is all black people from
75% of it.
Right. And you know what they do? They take these kids from the time they're 8. By the way, Nigeria, good luck with Nigeria. Hope you win on Tuesday against Argentina. We'll say shout out to Nigeria in the World Cup, you know? They groom these kids in like little farms, you know what I'm saying? They do more soccer by the time they're 8 years old than they go to school. You know, and the France basically like you're part of the French Union. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna win that cup for France. Not their own countries, not their own states and everything, not their own people, but you're part of France. Can we say now that we really don't have any strong black governments in Africa, except for let's give it up to Rwanda? You know what I'm saying? Rwanda so far so good. So we gotta give them credit. We can't be misery merchants, you know. I apologize for being a misery merchant. Rwanda is doing good. You know what I'm saying? Kigali is the most beautiful city to me on the planet. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful, a pearl of Africa. And there are some people, some Negroes and everything like that. And I'm going to keep it, you know something? I'm going to draw them out. I'm going to draw them out right now on the show. How many of you Negroes hate Paul Kagame and things? Let's talk about Paul Kagame. I know we've been on a long time. Let's talk about Paul Kagame and thing. I want to see who are all the traitors. We're gonna see who the traitors are. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so here we go. Here's the objection to Paul Kagame. He's working with the USA and smuggling coltan from the Congo because of the situation currently in the Congo. They can't, I guess, export the coltan. So what they do, they smuggle it to Rwanda, and everything is shipped through. Basically, Rwanda is a puppet of the West.
Of course, they all use that puppet thing. But if you look at Rwanda, go to Google Earth Maps. You show me physically how that coltan can first of all get into Rwanda, and first of all get out of Rwanda where it doesn't even make any sense. The Congo stuff just shipped out of the Congo through the Congo River. You know what I'm saying? Through the Congo River and the mouth of, or through where Brazzaville is. You know, there's 1,000 ways of shipping coal here. Also, you could also ship the stuff out by plane. You know what I'm saying? You can ship the stuff out through crates by plane. You know what I'm saying? You don't need ships and whatnot. Rwanda is a landlocked country. So tell me how in the world does it get from the Congo, you know what I'm saying, which is connected to Uganda, CAR, and all these other countries and everything, East Africa, railways and stuff like that. How can they get it? How can they get the stuff out of thing? And also, the half of the Congo has been destabilized for 20 years. Was Paul Kagame were part of the Congo Revolution in 1998? Was he part of that? Was Paul Kagame behind the Congo civil wars raging in the 1960s? Was he part of that too? You know what I'm saying? So in other words, basically, I asked this question to my Liberian guy. I said, look, do you native Liberians take any responsibility for what happened? And he gave me a whole page. Well, the HCA, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, let's say all that's true. The American Liberians were animals, they're assholes and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? The American Liberians were Thanos. You know, okay, they were Thanos. They had the Infinity Gauntlet, you know what I'm saying? They control all the problems you see right now in Liberia, those American Liberians. Okay, let's see that. Do you native Liberians take any responsibility? Blah, 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 blah. 3 pages later, blah, 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 blah. Do you have any responsibility, bear any responsibility for what happened in Liberia? Blah, 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 blah. Paul Kagame successful in Rwanda. I guess what you guys want to do, one of the things Paul Kagame is doing is making sure that those Hutu rebels, they're troublemakers and everything, that's joined with Lord and all these other people like that, never get across Rwanda's border. Never get within miles of the border, because how you keep a country safe, just like Liberia is, you keep the enemy within and the enemy without from ever joining forces. So therefore, within miles of the Congo, right, like, you can't get within miles of the Congo without Rwanda knowing about it. That means the troublemakers that would be dancing through the streets right now, dragging Paul Kagame, putting them on a pole, you know what I'm saying, they don't have a chance. You got people would love to see Paul Kagame dragged to the World Court. And some people are even talking about bringing Paul Kagame to the World Court because he's running for a 3rd term. You guys would love to see that. You know what I'm saying? And you guys use this fake idea of Western democracy to make your case. You can go to hell with Western democracy, and Paul Kagame has to stay there for another 20 years to make Rwanda a first world-class nation. I say let him stay there. You know what I'm saying? All you guys want to do is bring your tribalism up, bring your bitter up, because you want power. How about this? If you want power, why don't you get yourself an education? Learn how to do business. Make yourself some. Do like the Asians do. They rather put up buildings and build factories and everything and make themselves rich. They don't give a. Politics is just a means to an end. Politics is not an end itself. You don't go into politics to get rich. You go into politics to protect and facilitate what's already there. So all you guys argue with African Americans, you think we're gonna come to Africa, take from you and everything like that, and you have the reason why you think like that because you don't even have it in your mind to build anything. Let's see. I gotta read some of these comments. I said it out there.
They're going in on the comments, Steve.
Let's see. Carville tribe, the tribe that's really smart. Yeah, he is. Rwanda genocide result of due to the Belgian places. Yeah, that's true. Clark Kent, that's true. That's the truth. The Belgians did that, you know. Yeah, and Europeans going to force out to do anything they are forced out of Africa. So somebody said, how are Europeans going to force Africa to do anything when they are forced out of Africa? I don't know what that really means, but let's see. Nutrient, the problem that most dominant tribes bias higher drive. Yeah, that's great right here. Somebody saying Shady Rage said the problem is that the most dominant tribe. That's what I said. All you have to do is have numbers on your side, and you can dominate. You think that's fair? You have one tribe, one group of people has 1 million more people than other people. The other group of people have all the thing. Oh my God, I want to share this thing. My computer, man. I'm gonna take this thing and throw this thing in the garbage. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep talking. I'm gonna try to do something else. We're gonna keep it going. I'm gonna try something else. I gotta show these pictures. I gotta show this one picture. See, the whole thing is this. This is how it goes. In Africa, when I say Africa, I'm also talking about African Americans. You know what I'm saying? Because I see the same mentality here. It does not matter how much education you got. It doesn't matter how smart you are and what you can do and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? Because the bottom line is black people, whether it's Africa or America and everything, like people who like talk a lot of smack and talk a lot of stuff flashy and all stuff like that. And then what happens is this, like Chris Rock said, I don't care about how much education you got, can't keep my ass. We resort to thuggery and brutality and intimidation, all the things that we think that could get power. We have a TV show called Power out there. Now, I'm saying power of people. No, this TV show is not about Wall Street executives and everything like that, or people discovering the cure for cancer and other things like that. It's about you guessed it, drug dealers. You know what I'm saying? Every time you see the black man, he's either a drug dealer, a warlord, a dictator. He's all these things and everything like that because the world has it in his mind that the only way the black man can ever get power is by force. Okay, I think I got it, Dice. I think I got it. I got it. I got it. All right. All right, folks. All right. Those are the Matilda Newport. This is a signing of Liberia. It wasn't the flag of Liberia was not made really as the United States. The flag of Liberia, the blue meant Africa, and Liberia, the star meant Liberia, means a star in the dark continent. And the 11 stripes meant the 11 signers to the Liberian Constitution. These are the founding mothers of Liberia, right here, who founded, who knitted the Liberian flag. Let's see. This was a world famous Ducor International 5-star hotel, sitting above Snapper Hill, overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. Had a 5-star hotel, big pool. Some of the biggest acts from Nina Simone to Harry Belafonte played there at the Ducor Hotel in the 1960s, the 1960s, late 60s and 70s. It opened in 1964. The Ducor International Hotel also gave away game prizes to American contestants or on game shows, like when you have a black contestant, like back in the days. Let's say you get to stay at the Ducor International Hotel in Monrovia, Liberia. This was where Liberia was going to. You know what I'm saying? Going to. I'm not saying bragging about Liberia because I'm African American and this is my no. I'm saying that this was a chance. Everything we have that's worth something, the white man want to freaking destroy. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we have Rwanda going good. We are gonna keep talking and exposing the coups because there's people out there in Africa who want to see Rwanda fail. They want to see all these African countries fail because the bottom line is envy and jealousy. You know what I'm saying? And they sided with the white man. This is the president of modern Liberia. This is President William Tubman from Maryland County. He was the descendant of Harriet Tubman. He's a distant relative of Harriet Tubman.
William Tubman, right?
William V.S. Tubman.
I didn't know he was a descendant. I didn't know he was a descendant of Harriet Tubman.
He's a descendant of Harriet. The Tubmans came from Augusta, Georgia. That's where the last place some of the Tubmans went to after the Civil War. You know what I'm saying? Before the Civil War, some of them went to Georgia, some of them stayed in Maryland. Okay, he's a descendant. He's a relative of distant relative of Harriet Tubman. Tubman is the father of modern Africa. Every African leader emulated William Tubman. When he basically went out there on his thing and he was opening up a new building and everything like that, that inspired the whole entire African continent to say, this is what we want to have. We want a president. We don't want a king anymore. We don't want these Europeans. We want a president. You know what I'm saying? And Tubman was a role model. The whole African continent loved it. As poor as Africa was, they said, That's what we want. Africans being as equal as Europeans, a politician, as politicians, and he was a showman. He was something else. Tubman had swagger. He had style. He was a man. You know what I'm saying? He smoked cigars. He was a man. He was a man's man. Tubman was a man. This is Tubman's hometown, Harper, Liberia. Those are two churches. This is Baltimore Street. Harper is a city in Maryland, but it's also transplanted to a city in. No, wait a minute. Harper was named after one of the founders of Liberia, but Baltimore is where the guy came from. But he named the city Harper after himself. And this is Harper's Baltimore Street. And if you look at Maryland, most many streets in Harper, Liberia, are named after place names after Maryland. So basically, the culture of the settlers came from Maryland, transplanted right into that part of a beautiful part of Liberia. Overlooking the Cape Palmas, the Kavala River, the Harper River, and all these three rivers are joining right in the mouth of the Atlantic Ocean and everything like that. Lake Shepherd, beautiful place in history. Beautiful. It was like heaven on earth, heaven on earth. The settlers. This is another church in Harper, Liberia. Look, a cathedral. I think that's the Methodist Church. Let's see. This is the Tubman's University, Vocational Center. Vocational Center. This is a picture of Monrovia in 1965. Look how clean that city looks. You would think you're looking at America City, don't you? That's Broad Street, downtown Monrovia in 1965. Notice the cars, American cars imported and everything. Normal metropolis, a city, clean city. All right. This was in the 18. This picture was taken in 1850. This is Ashman Street. Ashman Street. I'm gonna show you how it modernized. This was Ashman Street in Monrovia, and okay, this is a chart right here. This shows you Liberia when Samuel Doe took over. Look at the Liberia's growth in the tens of thousands, like $1 billion worth of GDP. Right, it was at $1 billion worth of GDP. Had the fuel prices went down. Samuel Doe takes over, and look how it plummeted. Boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? That's Liberia's income. Everything plummeted in 1980 right here when Samuel Doe took over. This is me, a picture of me. You want to laugh? Laugh. This is me in fourth grade. God bless America and everything like that. But look what I'm looking at. This is Colin right here in fourth grade.
Hey, Kyle, can you go back to the GDP slide once Doe took over?
Okay. All right. Here is 1980 coup. That's a 1980 coup by Samuel Doe. You know what I'm saying? 800. It was at, let's see, $800 million, right? GDP. That's good for a small country of only 1 million people, right? It was at $1 billion at one time. It peaked at 1972, right here, and then it just went to a spiral. Every year was a spiral, until it bottomed out in 1996. You see?
Yeah, I see.
All right. All right. This is Prince Philip, whatever it is, getting carried by Africans, and I don't know who this is. I guess his wife getting carried by Africans in Ghana, the Ashantis in Ghana. You know what I'm saying? Shameful picture, This is just a house in America Liberian house in rural Liberia. Part of a plantation. They built beautiful homes in the interior. This is the water tower. If you don't know what this is a water. You see this in your city. This is a water tower. This is what the hell? This is what gives you pipe-borne water. Every county, every huh? We say that?
I'm familiar with water tower.
Yeah, every county in Liberia had pipe-borne. Monrovia had 3 of them. You know what I'm saying? And Bond County had 3 and everything like that. Every county in Liberia had pipe-borne water. That means Liberia had the second. It had that standard of living that was equal to Japan at the time. That means everybody, because it had such a small population, the amount of people that was being connected to the pipeline, the pipe-borne water grid, was higher than most countries in the world. So when people talk about, oh, it wasn't no development, oh, there's nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? It's a bunch of crap. This is Sino County in Greenville. Greenville was a replica of Greenville, Mississippi. It was called Mississippi in Africa. That's in Sino County. Let's see. This is a lumber yard. In the 1960s, Liberia was basically, instead of exporting logs, it was starting to process lumber, right, for buildings and home construction and everything, and exporting lumber, finished product, to neighboring African countries. They had orders already set up for different African countries that they couldn't even meet demand. That's the direction Liberia was going to. Modern lumber mills. All right. This is the Ricks University. The Ricks University was founded by African American with the last name Ricks in 1865, who emigrated from Virginia to Liberia and built this technical college. This technical college had students from all the different tribes and settler children. They all went to school together at Ricks University. Ricks University trained engineers, scientists, everything in the rebuilding of the republic. Another college was Booker T. Washington's college with Tuskegee University that was in Liberia, called Booker T. Washington College. That was in Liberia too, not too far from Ricks, in central.
We got a question in the chat room. Hojin K wants to know, would Liberia have been better off if they would have implemented customary laws from the indigenous population?
What do you mean customary? He got to be. That's a little vague. He got to.
Is Colin familiar with the role of the customary court and laws in African countries?
Okay, I know exactly what he's talking about. Okay, this is another thing. Liberians who live in the interior, right? Same thing happens in Africa right now. You have 2 courts of law, right? If for the most part, most small disputes were settled by customary laws and stuff like that, tribal deal, and everything like that. If you want to be a traditional person, right? You could use a customary law and everything like that. But the whole thing is, some people say all the time that the presence of modern courts in Liberia threaten the power of these customary laws. Because people could say, well, I'm not a boss anymore. I'm a Liberian. You see what I'm saying? After ask the guy does that question, answer this question. The people would play both sides against the middle. If you got in trouble with the customary law court, you would say, no, I want to take my court to the Liberian Superior Court. And then sometimes they'll kick it back to the customary law. No, you guys deal with that. You know what I'm saying? So so therefore, a way of life that they know was dying off. The modern world, what defeated Liberia wasn't the American Liberian, it was civilization. It was modern civilization. This picture right here is Ashburn Street in 1970. Notice the Ducor Hotel in the background on the hill, on Snapper Hill. Look how clean that street looks. That's how Ashburn Street looks now. Remember the picture I showed you earlier with dirt roads? Now this is 1970, paved roads, and the Ducor International Hotel on the top of the hill overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. You know, look how clean the sky looks. It looks like a peaceful country. It was a heaven on earth. All right. Oh, this is Metro Rail. Our friend John Cash's corporation builds monorails. And like I said, we're gonna be doing major things in Nigeria. And what the hell? Oh, pictures went out on me. Come on. Oh, it went out on me. Oh well. Oh well. Oh well. Oh well. Oh well. That was into that. It popped up. But the whole thing is this. We have to decide as a race: do we want progress, or do we want to keep fighting each other over stupid stuff? Like I said, we're not going to back down and distance ourselves from what our brothers and sisters did in Liberia, because they did the best they could for what they had. A question was told to me, well, the American Liberians had white people supporting them. Let me tell you something. Let me debunk this myth. And I know the people who said that are listening to the show.
Yeah, and let me chime in, because somebody in the chat room brought up the Liberia was founded by the American Colonialization Society.
I said that they didn't find it.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Like, they wanted to get rid of us. They want nothing to do with us. So it's like, look, we're gonna give you Negroes your own shit. Get the fuck out of here.
They wanted no part.
They wanted no part of us. That's why it's just like, it's equivalent to saying, okay, since illegal aliens get deported from America back to their countries, and since Donald Trump puts them on, a Delta flight back home to Honduras or whatever, that means that Donald Trump is trying to help these illegal aliens. I don't know. He's assisting these illegal aliens. He's helping them out.
They'll say, "Whoa, geez, you would be fitted for Donald Trump sending you back here and whatnot, this, that, and the other thing." That's the equivalent of what's going on right now in Liberia. And remind me of this guy named Bartui Ketabo says, "Give you an assessment of the impact of multinational related to a STEM." We're going to talk about that. We have a STEM group in the BAIO. We're all about STEM and science and everything like that. Join the BAIO. We have STEM groups in there and everything like that. But the whole thing is we have to basically get to the point where you get African Americans to understand STEM is not something fun. STEM ultimate goal is to build and improve human life and human situation. And the best way to demonstrate STEM is in Africa. And the problem is you have a lot of African Americans who basically who are lazy. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand the opportunity, like Chinese do. The Chinese will come to America, go to college, learn science and everything. They know they got infinite possibility and endless opportunity with that science education back home in Asia and building Asia and be part of the Asian infrastructure. African Americans don't get it. You know what I'm saying? They want to go STEM and everything like that. And the first thing they want to do is get there, put their little soul Negro eyes, gives us a job now. I did my STEM and everything. No, fool. When you do STEM, that means same way the white man builds railways, you got to build railways. Now you got to take responsibility. The white man, science don't belong to the white race. You have to harness science and the elements of the earth and universe to build something for yourselves. Yes, we have to partner with Africans with HBCUs and get serious about building. You know what I'm saying? Those idea, that we have to get STEM because we just like STEM is fun. No. You know what I'm saying? The idea of STEM is nationalism. It's nation building. If you're scared of nation, I want to ask the people who hate Pan-Africanism and everything like that. Dice, let's ask a question. People who say Pan-Africanism is dead, stop. If Mama Mulana says, I'm sick of all this talk about Africa and everything, then I guess we have no use for science then. Think about that. Think about what I just said. If you say you take Africa out of the equation, what use do we have for science? Diane? The whole idea of science is we're going to basically one day build something. My boy Brother John Caption is building monorails. We want to build monorails in several African countries. If Africans get their act together, we can be showing the world that we can do. We can build just the way the Chinese can build. We got the talent here to build anything in Africa. You know what I'm saying? But we don't have the backing because we don't have a government backing us. So if you take away science and everything, what good is science if you don't have any outlet for it? You know what I'm saying? If you don't have an outlet for it, what do you need science for? What do you need technology for? Why discover all these things if you're never gonna put them to use? And that's a sad part. Even in Africa, you have kids that you see all these discoveries happen. A Malawian kid just discovered this. I'm like, wow. Two Nigerian girls discovered this. You got geniuses in Nigeria, in Ghana, and everything, in science and everything, making groundbreaking discoveries, but they're never gonna have the chance to use them because we rather have our science and everything given to us by Asians and white people. You know, we have the BAIL. STEM is the first group you see when you join the groups in the BAIL, because a race of when we have STEM, that shows you we're serious about nation building. There's nothing on this earth that we don't study in the Black African Infrastructure Organization. Whether it's building, whether it's science, whether it's producing energy, transportation, everything you need to know about science industry, we study it. You know what I'm saying? Not to say we're going to do it because we have a roadmap. We know that when somebody tries to pull a tomfoolery on us, no, it ain't going to happen. Let's get back to what I was talking about with George Weah, right? Now, some company, I think I forgot the name of the company, right? Banking company consortium came to came to one of George Weah's handlers, said we can give you $500 million to build roads in Liberia, right? Now George Weah, he's not a bad guy, he's just not good for the job. He wants to help his people. He sees there's no roads and everything like that, and that's another thing. They blame the American Liberians. Oh, they should have paved these roads before we took over and everything. Like, well, they was in the process of doing that, but y'all overthrew them in 1980 and it never got done. So therefore, he wants to help his people. I understand. Bless his heart. You know what I'm saying? He don't know much. So he signed on to this deal, by which he put this country in debt for $1 billion. You know what I'm saying? And then says later on, well, we don't know if it's going to be used for roads or whatever like that. In other words, people have already talked about trying to siphon off some of the money. Now get this, the Fachita brothers, and that's two people you gotta. I think those are my two brothers from Liberian brothers that live in Minnesota. They have the TMZ, and they were on it. They went over to Hong Kong, right? Investigated where this company was supposed to be at. They found an office building that was empty, right? They asked guys, "Is this such company here?" No, 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 here. So the company does not exist, and the address is set in Hong Kong, right? There's some more investigating. Found out that all that is if you have somebody that says they're a company, right? They sign on to something, right? And then you get an agreement. Some other vulture capitalists come and buy up the debt. You know what I'm saying? Buy up the debt. They put in the money, initial money, and they buy up the debt, and they charge that particular company. That said that you think you're dealing with, right? They're out of the picture, just like a mortgage. When you buy a mortgage on a house and everything like that, a couple of years later, such and such mortgage company took over. I don't know. We had a leverage buyout. You know what I'm saying? Such no longer mortgage. These are terms. This, that, the other thing. Anybody ever bought a house before? You know. That's what happened in Liberia. Now, why is these brothers that do amateur internet investigating found this out, and the whole government of Liberia didn't do their due diligence with this company? This is what you had that just got elected in Liberia, and the people of Liberia deserve better. You know what I'm saying? The people of Liberia deserve better. You know, it can't be all emotionalism. It can't be all, yeah, well, we at least we got an indigenous man in power and everything. What's that if you're starving? You know, say we Black Americans, we don't understand tribalism. We don't understand. Maybe, like I said, maybe if I was on their side, when I probably see the world differently. You know what I'm saying? I would want to know, be reassured that somebody that came from the indigenous side of things was is capable. You know, so maybe they have a self-esteem issue. Maybe that's the self-esteem issue of the indigenous Liberian is something we all need to work on. Let's make them feel appreciated and make them feel that they're worthy, that we're not putting them down when we talk about the good of American Liberians did. We know you guys are capable, American indigenous Liberians are capable, but we understand we got a job at hand. You know what I'm saying? You got to look at the bigger picture. You know what I'm saying? If Liberia fails, we all fail. We lose part of our history. You know what I'm saying? And then the white man will all gonna look at it and say, look, they don't know who cares. They don't care about indigenous Liberian and all this stuff like this. They understand that another black country dared to try to make an attempt at building a nation and they failed. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta get these people, the indigenous Liberians, to get on that level where they see the bigger picture. They don't see the bigger picture. You have people like Adolphus McGrady. He's American Liberian, but he's the head of the Liberian Architects Association. The best engineer, I swear, the best engineer in the world, Adolphus McGrady. But he can't get headway. Why? Because he's a so-called Congo man. He's American Liberian, and nobody wants to deal with him. He couldn't even get audience with Sirleaf. You know what I'm saying? Madam Sirleaf, which was president. You know? And this guy designed the airport. This guy does all kinds of stuff. He's one of the best architects and engineers. He was bred to be an architect and engineer. Adolphus, he's an honorable man. The Honorable Adolphus McGrady. But because he's an American Liberian, Cummings, he should have been president right now. You know what I'm saying? But even though he's not president, he says he's willing to work with the way of government. They don't want to work with him. Why? Because he's a Congo man. He's an American Liberian. So the hatred is on both sides. Well, actually, it's mostly coming from the indigenous people. But I just don't get it. I just don't get it. We don't understand. We don't understand all this stuff like this because we are. Think somebody, Mr. Cat said, tribalism is too deep. Yeah, it's too deep, but it's killing us. That's why I say you cannot have democracy if you have tribalism. You cannot have it. You know what I'm saying? You cannot have democracy, Western democracy, and tribalism. Paul Kagame did the right thing. He put the right people in power, the right power and everything. He took Hutus and Tutsis, mixed it up, said, look, we're going to build Rwanda together. You know what I'm saying? You let the fools get in there, you'll have all Hutus who would love to freaking come there and start massacring Tutsis again. They don't care about nothing about this. All they want is blood and revenge and hatred and all this kind of nonsense. And us black people, we have to stand up to hatred. We hold up to the dynasty. We're not spreading hate. We're just exposing this. By talking about it, we bring this stuff to the surface. The problem with black people and the problem with Africa is the fact of the matter is we do not deal with it. We sweep everything under the rug. We just go along our way and everything. And then when it boils up, it's out of control. We sweep everything under the rug. We don't want to freaking deal with problems until it's too late. We let things fester and it's too late. Now you got Liberia says, we never wanted you Negroes in our land anywhere historically. Evidence prove this. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? After all I just said, pouring my heart out, being conciliatory, here comes this Negro talking about, because historically we never wanted you in our land. We know you don't want it in our land, but we built Liberia anyway. We stomped on your stupid coconut head anyway. You know what I'm saying? And so the bottom line is this. This is the way it is. All you think, Mr. Liberian, whatever, Liberian leopard, whatever, we are going to continue doing what we're doing. You are a small fry. You are but the simple simpleton. You know what I'm saying? On the bigger scheme of things. You know what I'm saying? So it's it's thing. How many minutes are we into the show, Diane? Huh? You're on mute.
2 hours. We've been on for 2 hours.
Oh wow, man. That's a fast 2 hours.
It is a fast 2 hours.
I could go on, man, but I know you're tired, man.
Yeah. I'm not built for the 3 hour show situations.
You know me, I am, man. This could be a 5 hour show.
Oh yeah.
But I got to stop being a hypocrite. You know why? Because every time somebody sends me a video, right, and I see that 2 hours up there, I'm like, hell to the nah. I'm like, if you can't make your point in 20 minutes, I ain't watching it. But yeah, I do these things and whatnot, and I want everybody to listen to 2.5 hours of what I'm saying. I don't give I'll listen to you whole up. I'll listen to your shows whole up, and that's it. And a few other people there for an hour. And your O'Shea brother. That's the only people I listen to for a couple hours. Everybody else, Tariq Nasheed, I can't give him no more than 15 minutes. Okay, he's bashing a celebrity. I'll listen to him. You know what I'm saying? But I can't listen to him with that music playing in the background. Duh, 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 duh. I'm like, dude, you got this. What I'm saying. You don't have to turn on no damn music. You know what I'm saying? Black people will listen to you. You don't have to get us hyped up with the beat and everything. You like Tariq, cut that shit out, man. Turn the music off. You know, But so yeah. So the BAIO, Black African Infrastructure Organization.
Let me put the link in the chat. Make sure you guys go to BIO and BAIO and make sure you guys.
Also, in the BAIO, I have a group in the BAIO, a Liberian group, the Association of African Americans of Liberia. It has a blog page, everything, a forum, everything you could build with other people. That we have a lot of Liberians in the BAIO, you know. And so we got so this idea that African, no, we got Liberians, I got Nigerians, I got people from all over. People understand when we talk about infrastructure, everybody's part of the infrastructure. You know what I'm saying? Black African infrastructure, not African American infrastructure. It's Black African. If you're Black and African, you're more than welcome to join the BAIO. Join us and see what we're about and everything. Meet some cool people and everything like that. You know, when this organization, we start organizing your own local areas and everything. The bottom line, we want to have a cultural context for what we're doing. You know something? I learned this and listen to this. And I'm going to say this carefully, right?
Oh, go ahead.
I listened to this one program, right? And this person said, "How do we stop terrorism?" You know, and they said, "Oh, we could bomb them to the thing, but we have to destroy the ideology." See, when you have basically somebody said, "College, get a professional site." It is a professional site. What the heck are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? It's a freaking social network. We pay for it. You know what I'm saying? Get a professional site. Come on, man. Stop dissing me.
That's a Negro stalling tactic.
Negro stalling tactic. You know. Anyway, they said you have to get an ideology. You got to destroy the ideology. You got to get it in the planning stage. The BAIO is cultivating an ideology that African Americans should have an independent state in the African continent, and we should be international, globally connected through trade, through business, through education, through language and culture, through that nation state throughout the world with other Africans, and we should all build together. That's an ideology, and that ideology is taking root. Once that ideology is spread like wildfire, you can't get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? It's something that's going to burn and live forever. It's going to be written about. It's going to be talked about. It's going to be new generations are going to be born into it. You're going to be born into the land, infrastructure, nature, ideology. You know what I'm saying? How do we get freedom? What's with freedom? We won't solve freedom. You ever hear these Negroes? We won't solve freedom. You want your freedom? There's 3 letters. LIN. Land, infrastructure, nationhood. You know what I'm saying? It gives you peace, justice, and civilization. And the ability to be free and do what you want. Nah, I don't want that, man. I think we're gonna rise up one day. We're gonna take over the. I tell you what. If you talk about rising up, you talk about
rise up.
Rise up. I gotta think. Maybe the rise up people could win. You know what I'm saying? It could win. They could actually theoretically win. Why? Because when you dusty Negroes, right? With your stuff, rise up, whatnot. You say when you go marching down Pennsylvania, but you're gonna rise up, whatever like that. The sight of you will cause so much humor that these people will fall out dead in Congress and everything of laughter. And you might just win. Because they'll fall out dying laughing, you know what I'm saying? And you dusty Negroes. Or basically they say like only thing you have to do only thing you have to do is send child support. You know what I'm saying? Child support here? Oh I got warrants on me and whatnot, or send the debt collector or whoever like that you owe money to or whatever like that, and y'all dispersed overnight. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna rise up. But if you do whatnot, just do it. Even just do it. You know what I'm saying? Because I guarantee you, a whole white establishment will kill over, die, and laughing. That could work though. You know what I'm saying? They could kill over, die, and laughing. But you walk there talking about, I'm a Hebrew, I'm a Moor. You know what I'm saying? None of y'all know who you are, what you are, and everything. I'm a Moor, I'm a Hebrew. I'm
from Turtle. Me personally, Kala. I'm from Turtle Island. I'm from Turtle Island.
I'm the original Native American. When I was already here, when they see all you dusty Negroes together, they will fall out dying laughing. That you're gonna take this country back and whatnot. That you're a sovereign citizen and this is your original land and everything. Just go ahead and do it. You might just win, because they will keel over and die of laughing. You know what I'm saying? they will keel over and die laughing and whatnot. And you might just have a winner. Unfortunately, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'm from Turtle Island, and the slave trade happened in reverse.
Oh, I heard this, man. I heard the other day. I didn't want to. I was so broken. I didn't respond to it. Somebody actually said, "Do you know that the Native Americans were shipped to Africa as slaves?" You know what I'm saying? So we came over here. We were actually Native Americans. We were set back.
The
I was
slave
like,
trade happened in reverse. It happened in reverse.
I said, I was like this. I looked at this. I said, no, I can't do it. No, I can't. I just can't. I can't anymore. Even that, I can't do it. I just can't do it.
The slave trade happened in reverse. They shipped.
Yeah. Oh, Lord have mercy. It's just something else. All right.
All right, bro. But hey, Kyle, I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
No, anytime. Saturday night is our slot, man. I appreciate
Saturday
it.
night, man.
Really enjoyed it, and you know, I am Dynast Amir El Bey Wuhati from the the Washati indigenous Olmec Turtle Island tribe.
I'm going to Wapian Hotel.
Right, and the slave trade happened in reverse. Because what happened, all those slave dungeons and castles lined up by the hundreds on the west coast of Africa, those are all an illusion to keep the indigenous Washati tribe El Bays here in America from our birthright and our land here in America.
America loving Negroes, you know? Yeah. You got a whole continent out there, all the minerals, beautiful women, beautiful landscape, and you can start from ground zero, build new roads, everything, carve your own civilization out. But you want America, you know? Like I said, man, that's another thing. Negroes, I know we gotta go, but Negroes will trap you. And I'm suspicious of people sending me prayer requests now, you know? They're like, yeah, this, that, the other thing. I agree with you. Yeah, I know you agree about this, but I know sooner or later it's coming. You know what I'm saying? But see, Colin, we were already here. You know what I'm saying? There we go. I knew it. You know what I'm saying? I knew it. Just trying to soft Sophia. You know? I knew it. I knew it was coming. These Negroes, they can't stay right here. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what do you want me to co-sign? I got a couple of dudes I'm suspicious of. You know what I'm saying? They're like, yeah, they ready to. Yeah, I had one dude. I thought it was my boy. He was like, yeah, it was like. Then he just started. I mean, and then he turned out to be a full-fledged Native American. We were already here. This, that. He don't want to hear nothing. His brother looked like he's from the Congo. I said, dude, I can show you a picture of a dude from the Congo, and y'all can pass as twins. I don't want to hear that. I'm a Native American.
Hey. We don't look like no Africans. I look like this Olmec statue.
Yeah, the Olmec. That Olmec statue is such a fake. And like I said, man, black people. If we learn to love yourself, accept. First of all, if you don't even love yourself, accept who the hell you are. You know what I'm saying? Just accept. Just when you get to resign, say, I'm black. Remember Ruckus? In that Boondock? Remember he found out he was 100% black. You go, okay, I'm black. What do I do? What do I do now? What do I do? Do I gotta berate myself? I gotta learn how to rap. It's hilarious. Look, dudes, you are black, man. You know what I'm saying? Your ancestors came over here on slave ships. Yeah, deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Now you want to reverse that? Let's talk about building a nation of our own and everything as an ideology. That's what we want to do. In the meantime, we build among ourselves with businesses, camaraderie, and everything like that. That's the building blocks of one day having our own independent nation, right? To reverse the effects of the slave trade. But if you say the slave trade never happened, I can't help you. I don't know what else to do to you. I don't know. But I guess we're done here, Don.
Yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate you coming on, Kyla. I enjoyed it.
Anytime.
Hey, make sure you guys go to Search for Uhuru on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. I'm sorry. Again, search for Uhuru on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Also go to Africa Personified on those same platforms. Make sure you go to searchforuhuru.com, dynastyamir.com, amazon.com, search your name, Dynast Amir, and also go to africapersonified.africa. Till next time, family, which will be tomorrow. Peace.
Peace.